Have you ever witnessed karma unfold in real time? Have you ever seen someone's own choices create the exact consequence they were trying to avoid? My name is Sarah. I'm 32 years old, a project manager living in Philadelphia, and this story happened exactly 1 month ago on a Tuesday morning commute that I'll never forget. This is about a group of college students, a patient conductor, a kind woman, and the most perfect example of poetic justice I've ever witnessed in real life. It's a story about respect, consequences, and how sometimes the universe has a sense of humor. I commute into Philadelphia every weekday from my apartment in Wilmington, Delaware. It's about 30 miles, close enough to make the commute doable, far enough that rent is actually affordable on my salary. Every morning, I take the 712 Regional Express on Amtrak. We call it the Express train because it skips 8 stops between Wilmington and Philly, cutting about 40 minutes off the local train time. Those 40 minutes mean everything when you're trying to get to the office before your 8:30 a.m. meeting. The Express has its regulars. I see the same faces every day, even if we don't always talk. There's Marcus, a postal worker who always does crossword puzzles on his iPad. There's Linda, a nurse heading to her shift at Penn Presbyterian who knits these incredible scarves while listening to audiobooks. There's James, a corporate lawyer who reads the Wall Street Journal on his phone and drinks the same Starbucks order every single day. And there's Dorothy. Dorothy is in her early 70s, with natural silver hair, reading glasses that hang on a colorful beaded chain, and this warm energy that just makes you feel safe. She works part-time at the University of Pennsylvania Library and has been taking this train for over 20 years. She knows everyone's names, asks about your weekend, remembers your kids' names. Dorothy is the heart of our commuter family. We're a quiet group. Everyone follows the unspoken rules, keep phone calls brief and quiet, use AirPods or headphones, give up priority seats, don't eat anything that smells. We coexist peacefully, scrolling through our phones, catching up on podcasts, getting that last bit of peace before the workday chaos. The conductor on the 712 is a guy named Marcus, mid-50s, patient, professional. He's been working this route for years and handles everything with this calm efficiency that makes you feel like the train system actually works. This was my normal, my routine, until last month, until that Tuesday in early November. The train pulled into Wilmington Station at exactly 7:12 a.m. like it does every day. I boarded my usual car, second one from the front, and settled into my window seat. I pulled out my phone, opened my Kindle app, and started reading where I'd left off yesterday. Dorothy was already there, 2 rows ahead, reading a physical book like she always does. James was across the aisle, scrolling through financial news. Linda was behind me, knitting to a true crime podcast. Normal, peaceful. At Marcus Hook, the first stop after Wilmington, a group of 5 college students boarded our car. And immediately, I knew something was off. They were loud, not normal conversation loud, like pre-gaming before a concert loud, laughing, shouting to each other across the aisle, playing TikTok videos on full volume from someone's phone, using language that would make a sailor wince. They looked about 19 or 20, 3 young women, 2 guys, all wearing matching hoodies that said Temple University debate team on them. The girl who seemed to be the leader, I'll call her Madison, was on FaceTime with someone, volume maxed out, having a full dramatic conversation about some interpersonal drama, while the rest of her group egged her on and filmed for what I assume was their Instagram stories. "Oh my God, she is literally such a snake," Madison shrieked into her phone. "I cannot deal with this right now." Around the car, regular commuters looked up from their phones. This was not normal, not for the express train. Marcus, doing his crossword puzzle, looked up, frowning. Linda's knitting paused. James lowered his phone, looking annoyed. Madison continued her FaceTime conversation at maximum volume. Her friends were showing each other memes, cackling. One guy was literally beatboxing, badly, while another filmed him for TikTok or Snapchat or whatever. After about 5 minutes, Marcus, the postal worker, stood up. "Excuse me," he said firmly. "Could you please keep it down? People are trying to work and rest." Madison barely glanced at him. "Chill out, dude. It's a train, not a library." "This is the express train. People expect—" "Whatever, boomer." She went back to her phone. Marcus stood there for a second, jaw tight, then sat back down. He didn't finish his crossword that morning. More minutes passed. The noise continued. If anything, it got worse. They were showing each other TikTok videos, each trying to one-up the last with volume and shock value. Linda finally spoke up, pulling out one AirPod. "Hey, sweetie, could you maybe use headphones? Some of us have been working night shifts and really need some quiet." Madison looked at her, rolled her eyes. "It's literally a public train. We can do what we want. Mind your business." Dorothy, sweet Dorothy, turned around in her seat. "Dear, I know you're excited about something, but could you maybe lower the volume just a bit? It would really help everyone." "Oh my God, seriously?" Madison looked at her friends. "Is this woman seriously trying to parent us right now?" They all laughed. Dorothy turned back around. I saw her hands shake slightly as she returned to her book. That's when I felt the anger rise in my chest. You don't talk to Dorothy like that. Not on our train. But before anyone else could say anything, Marcus the conductor entered our car for ticket check. Marcus moved through the car with his handheld scanner, checking digital tickets on phones, offering his usual pleasant greeting to the regulars. When he reached the college students, he stopped. "Tickets, please." They fumbled with their phones, eventually pulling up student passes. Marcus scanned them, then frowned. "These are local train passes. This is the Regional Express." "So?" Madison said, not looking up from her phone. "So, you need express tickets. Express costs more because it's faster and skips stops." "Ugh, fine, whatever. How much?" $10 additional per person. Grumbling and complaining about how that's so stupid, they eventually Venmo'd each other and one person paid the difference for the group. As Marcus processed the payment, he looked at their tickets more closely. "Where are you all headed?" "Eddystone," one of the guys said. Marcus's expression shifted. "Eddystone? This train doesn't stop at Eddystone. This is the express." Madison's head snapped up. "What do you mean it doesn't stop there?" "The express skips Eddystone. You need the local train for that stop." "But we have to be at Eddystone." Madison's voice went up an octave. "We have a debate tournament. We have to be there by 8:30 or we're disqualified." "I understand, but this is the wrong train. You should have checked the schedule." "Well, what are we supposed to do?" Full panic mode now, the kind of dramatic overreaction that suggests she's not used to things going wrong. Marcus remained calm, professional. "If you get off at Chester, that's 3 stops from here, you can catch the 7:45 local southbound. It stops at Eddystone at 8:17. You'll be fine." "Fine? Do you know how important this tournament is?" "Miss, I'm giving you a solution. Chester is in 12 minutes. Get off there, take the local, and you'll make your stop with plenty of time." Madison continued arguing, insisting Marcus should make an exception and stop the train at Eddystone. Impossible. That she'd post about this on Twitter and tag Amtrak. Okay. That this was completely unacceptable. Sure. Marcus stood there and absorbed her tirade with the patience of someone who's dealt with this exact scenario 1,000 times. When she finally ran out of steam, he simply repeated, "Chester Station, 12 minutes, the 7:45 local." Then he continued checking tickets. As he passed Dorothy, I saw him give her a small, knowing smile. She returned it, her eyes twinkling. You'd think the stress of being on the wrong train would calm them down, make them reflect, maybe pull up the train schedule, plan their next move. You'd be wrong. If anything, they got louder. Madison was now on a group FaceTime with what sounded like her entire debate team, dramatically recounting their predicament. The conductor is so unhelpful. Like, how are we supposed to know which train to take? This is literally a disaster. The rest of her group was hyping her up, suggesting she demand a refund, report Marcus, post about it on TikTok for views. They were treating it like some massive injustice rather than their own mistake. The noise level in our previously peaceful car was unbearable. Several regulars moved to other cars. Those of us who stayed, whether out of stubbornness or because we'd already claimed our spots, suffered in silent frustration. Dorothy, who had closed her book and was just looking out the window, turned around one more time. "Sweetheart," she said gently, "I know you're stressed, but if you could all just lower your voices a bit, everyone would really appreciate it. We're all just trying to get through our morning." Madison looked at her with pure contempt. "Oh my God, lady, seriously? Get a life and stop policing people." Her friends laughed, someone said, "Okay, Karen," and they went back to their noise. Dorothy's face fell. She turned back around without another word. I saw Linda reach forward and touch Dorothy's shoulder gently. Dorothy patted her hand but didn't turn around again. The minutes crawled by. We passed through Trainer Station. Then we were approaching Chester. Over the intercom, Marcus announced, "Chester Station, next stop." The students kept talking, filming TikToks, watching videos. The train slowed. The platform came into view. "Chester Station," Marcus repeated clearly. Madison was mid-rant about something, her friends completely absorbed in their phones, showing each other memes. The train stopped. Doors opened with their usual pneumatic hiss. "This is Chester Station," Marcus announced one more time. Complete silence from the students. They were entirely absorbed in whatever was on their screens. 20 seconds passed. 30. 40. The doors chimed their warning. Doors closed. The train lurched forward. We departed Chester Station, and not a single one of them noticed. We'd been moving for maybe 90 seconds when Dorothy turned around in her seat. Her expression was kind, almost innocent, but there was the tiniest glimmer of something else, amusement maybe. "Excuse me, honey," she said sweetly to Madison. "What was your stop again?" Madison, irritated by the interruption, opened her mouth to snap something back, but then her eyes drifted past Dorothy to the window, to the station sign we were passing. Chester Station. Her face went completely white. "Oh my God," she whispered. "What?" one of her friends asked, not looking up from her phone. We just passed Chester. We were supposed to get off there." "What?" Chaos. Absolute chaos. They started yelling at each other, frantically checking the time on their phones, 7:49 a.m., pulling up Google Maps, checking the Amtrak app. "How did we miss it?" "You were the one who was supposed to watch for the stop." "No, you were supposed to." "This is your fault." From across the aisle, James spoke up without lowering his phone. "If you'd been quiet, you would have heard the conductor announce it 3 times. Madison whirled on him, face red with embarrassment and rage. "Nobody asked you." But the damage was done. The entire car had heard. And while most of us were too polite to laugh out loud, you could see the barely suppressed smiles on everyone's faces. Dorothy, still turned around, continued in that same gentle voice. "Oh, don't worry too much, dear. When we get to 30th Street Station in Philadelphia, the 8:05 local southbound will be there. You can catch that and still make it to your tournament." Madison looked at her suspiciously, probably wondering if this was genuine help or mockery. "Really?" one of the other girls asked hopefully. "Oh yes, absolutely. The 8:05 is always at the platform when our train arrives. You'll be just fine." Relief flooded their faces. Crisis averted. Or so they thought. Here's what you need to understand about the 712 Express and its relationship with the 8:05 local. Those of us who ride this train every single day know that the 8:05 is supposed to be waiting at 30th Street when we arrive. That's the official schedule. That's what the app says. We also know with absolute certainty that our train is almost never on time. Track work, signal delays, someone holding a door, weather, construction, whatever. The Northeast Corridor is old and overcrowded, and delays are just part of life. The conductors do their best, but it's an aging system. On a really good day, we arrive at 8:03 or 8:04, and if you absolutely sprint, you might catch the 8:05. Most days, we roll in around 8:07 or 8:08, which means the 8:05 is already gone. As we approached Philadelphia, I noticed Dorothy catch my eye. She gave me the slightest wink. I glanced around. Linda was smiling behind her knitting. James had a smirk while scrolling through his phone. Marcus, the crossword guy's shoulders were shaking with silent laughter. We all knew. Every single regular knew what was about to happen. The students had finally gone quiet, too anxious about their tournament to keep up the noise. They were clustered near the doors, backpacks on, ready to sprint the second the train stopped. Through the windows, we could see the approach to 30th Street Station. The train slowed as we entered the underground platform. The station lights appeared. And in the distance, on the adjacent track, pulling away into the tunnel, we could see the 8:05 local, leaving right as we arrived. Our train came to a complete stop at exactly 8:07 a.m. The students saw the departing train, watched the last car disappear into the tunnel, watched their final chance to make the tournament on time vanish. Madison let out a sound somewhere between a scream and a sob. No! No, 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 no! Her friends were frantically opening the Amtrak app. The next southbound local is 8:35. We'll never make it. The tournament starts at 8:30. We're disqualified. We're completely screwed. My parents are going to kill me. Coach is going to lose it. As the doors opened and passengers began filing out, Madison turned to Dorothy, fury and desperation in her eyes. You said the 8:05 would be here. Dorothy stood up slowly, gathering her purse and book, and looked at Madison with that same kind smile. I said the 8:05 is always supposed to be here, sweetie, and it was, at 8:05. I never said we'd arrive in time to catch it. The schedule is available on the app if you'd like to check it yourself. Madison's mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. Have a blessed day, dear. I hope your tournament works out. Dorothy walked past the group and stepped off the train. The rest of us followed, one by one. Marcus with his crossword, Linda with her knitting, James with his phone, me with my coffee. All the regulars who'd endured 30 minutes of disrespect, noise, and chaos. As we walked past, not a single one of us looked back at them. But we all had the same expression, pure, beautiful satisfaction. That was exactly 1 month ago, and already it's become a legend among the morning commuters. People who weren't even in our car that day have heard about it. Are you the one who saw Dorothy and the debate team kids, they ask me? I've become a witness to what's quickly becoming the most famous karma moment in recent Amtrak history. Dorothy? She's a hero. People come up to her to shake her hand, to tell her that was brilliant, to say they wish they'd been there to see it. She just smiles, goes back to her book, and doesn't make a big deal of it. But I see that little twinkle in her eye. She's proud of that moment, and she should be. Since then, I've noticed something. The express train is quieter, more respectful. People are more conscious of their volume, more willing to use headphones, more polite when asked to keep it down. Because word has spread. On Reddit, on Twitter, on TikTok, people are talking about the Amtrak Karma Lady and the college kids who learned a hard lesson about respect and consequences. I don't know what happened to those students, if they made it to their tournament eventually, if they got in trouble, if they learned anything. But I do know that Dorothy taught everyone else in that car, and now thousands of people online, a valuable lesson. Sometimes karma isn't loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's just missing your stop because you were too busy being disrespectful to pay attention. And sometimes justice is simply telling someone the exact truth and letting the universe handle the rest. I'm not particularly wise or experienced, but this past month, watching how this story has spread and seeing the reactions, I've learned something important. Respect isn't old-fashioned. It's not some outdated concept that doesn't matter anymore. It matters more than ever. In a world where we're all on our phones, all in our own bubbles, all convinced our experience is the most important thing, moments like this remind us that we share space with other people, and those people deserve consideration. Dorothy didn't lecture those students, didn't yell, didn't report them, didn't make a scene. She just let consequences happen, natural, inevitable consequences of their own choices. That's not revenge, that's wisdom. And I try to remember that now, when someone's rude to me on the train, or cuts me off in traffic, or is dismissive at work. I try to be more like Dorothy, patient, kind, but also unwilling to let disrespect go unnoticed. I believe in giving people chances. Dorothy gave those students multiple chances. But I also believe in letting people experience the results of their own behavior. And I always keep my voice down on public transportation now. Because you never know when karma might be sitting 2 rows ahead, wearing reading glasses on a beaded chain and carrying a paperback novel, just waiting for the universe to do its work. Last week, I gave Dorothy a small gift, a bookmark with the train schedule printed on it, with the 8:05 circled in red ink and a little smiley face next to it. She laughed so hard she cried. You know, she told me afterward, I've been taking trains for 40 years. I've seen every type of person, the kind ones, the rude ones, the clueless ones. And I've learned that sometimes the universe teaches better lessons than any lecture ever could. Do you think they learned? I asked. She smiled. Maybe, maybe not, but everyone else certainly did. She's right. I learned. Linda learned, Marcus and James and everyone else in that car learned, and now thousands of people online have learned. Be respectful, pay attention, listen to announcements, use headphones, keep your voice down, because if you don't, you might just miss your stop, and the 8:05 is always running late anyway. Thank you so much for sticking with me through this story. It happened just 1 month ago, and I'm still processing how perfectly it all unfolded. I want to ask you, have you ever witnessed karma like this, where someone's own behavior created the exact consequence they were trying to avoid? Drop your stories in the comments. I read every single one, and I love hearing about these moments of cosmic justice. If this story made you smile, if it reminded you that respect and patience still matter in 2024, please hit that like button. It genuinely helps more people discover these stories, and I think we could all use a reminder that kindness wins in the end. Subscribe to this channel if you want more real-life stories about karma, human connection, and those perfect moments when the universe delivers justice. I share true stories every week, some satisfying like this one, some heartbreaking, some mysterious, but they're all real, and they're all happening right now. Turn on notifications so you never miss a story. I promise next week's story is going to blow your mind. Here's my challenge for you. Be a Dorothy this week. When someone's rude, respond with patience. When someone needs help, offer it, even if they don't deserve it. When you have a chance for petty revenge, let the universe handle it instead. Because Dorothy didn't make those students miss their tournament. Their own noise, their own disrespect, their own refusal to pay attention did that. She just told them the truth and let nature take its course. That's not revenge. That's wisdom. Share this video with someone who's ever been frustrated by rude people on public transportation, or anyone who needs to believe that karma is still real in 2024. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being the kind of person who would use headphones, keep your voice down, and treat strangers with respect. The world needs more Dorothys. And maybe, just maybe, you can be one of them. Until next time, take care of yourselves. And remember, the 8:05 is always late, so maybe just be quiet and listen for your stop. I'll see you next week with another story. Peace out.